Bayhawks, Ms. Shade here. Are you getting enough sleep? Statistics say probably not. A study by the Centers for Disease Control found that 7 out of 10 high schoolers were not getting enough sleep on school nights. This is a problem. Not getting enough sleep can put you in a bad mood and make it hard to concentrate in class. Plus, lack of sleep is linked to health problems, including heart disease, depression, and type 2 diabetes. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine says that teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. Does this sound like you? If not, what do you do? First, you want to try and go to sleep at about the same time every night. Figure out what time you need to wake up and then work backwards to figure out what time you should go to bed. If you need to wake up at 6 and your goal is 8 hours of sleep, you need to be in bed before 10. Second, and this is a hard one, even for me, don't look at screens before bed. That means no computers, no phones, and no gaming consoles. Instead, try reading a book. Or try coloring. Third, no caffeine before bed. This doesn't just mean coffee. Tea, sodas, energy drinks, and even chocolate have caffeine. And according to the Food and Drug Administration, caffeine can stay in your body for 12 hours. Fourth, make sure your room is dark, quiet, and comfortable. Keeping your room dark makes it easier for your body to produce melatonin, a hormone that helps you sleep. Some people sleep better with total quiet. Other people like to sleep with a fan or a white noise machine. And finally, get some exercise during the day. Work out with your coach, take a walk with a friend, or try a new workout video on YouTube. I like Pilates. With these tips, I hope all of you Bayhawks are ready to catch some Z's. Good night!
Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Faust, and we're having our first roundtable. We're here with people from the Children's Guild. We have Ms. Cook. We also have Ms. Shade, and we have Ms. Maria. And today's topic is going to be on sleep hygiene. Now, just a little bit about myself. This is going to be good for me because I do have sleep deprivation at times, but also this is very important for students, especially when we're trying to go into education. So I am going to turn it over to the panel. I will just ask a couple of questions. The first question is this. What is a good amount of sleep for our students?
So the CDC says that that teenagers need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night.
And that's mostly because at this age, between in your adolescence, so from 13 to 18, that's when there's a lot of brain development happening, and that happens during sleep. So it's so important that you get that amount, 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and especially at night, because studies have shown you're going to get a lot more restful sleep during the night than you would getting 8 or 10 hours of sleep during the day.
So just to clarify, the whole idea that if you decide that you've had a long day of school and then you take a nap at 3 in the afternoon from 3 to 5, that may not give you the same amount of restfulness as opposed to sleeping at night. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Some people may not even realize they might have good habits or bad habits that help them go into sleep mode. Can somebody tell me any habits we might need to avoid or just to think about if we need to try to sleep a little better?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on the naps too. If you're taking naps, then that's going to, be more difficult for you to fall asleep in general, because then you're already you've gotten a little bit of restful sleep. And then when it's time to go to bed, your body's not ready for sleep.
Yeah, our bodies really work on schedules. And so you have this circadian rhythm, which kind of gets on a schedule, and your body produces hormones ready to sleep at the same time every day. And that's often, that's triggered by being on a schedule. And then that's also triggered by being exposed to darkness. So darkness is really, really important in terms of making you ready to sleep.
So we did talk about the nap. Is there any other things that that might be impeding on the opportunity for you to get the correct amount of sleep?
So yes, kind of on the topic of making sure things are dark, one of the biggest problems people have, and it's not just teenagers, it's adults like us,
Like me, right?
screens. So your phone,
Mm,
your computer, gaming,
Netflix.
television, any of it, that will really make it hard to fall asleep. And so actually going on your computer for before bed can confuse your brain about what time it is. Not to mention the fact that it's very easy to just get sucked into being on the internet or being on a game, and before you know it, you thought you were going to be on there for 30 minutes, and then it's 3 or 4 hours later.
So even the idea for me that I heard that's a good tactic for even students is your place of rest needs to always like that needs to be that place that your body knows that when you get here, when you get in that position, that time is for sleep. To help your body feel acclimated in that area. And that was something interesting because a lot of times I had a bad pattern of taking my electronics, sitting, typing, doing my work in my bed because I could raise it up and down. And then it's just when it's time for me to go to sleep, when I was doing that, it would take me longer than what it would. So I definitely do think the idea of screen time, whether you're a student or an adult, it definitely does impede on your brain being able to do that.
Well, I just wanted to go back and touch on what you were just talking about because, during COVID, it's really tough. A lot of the kids at school don't have anywhere to go besides their bed. And so they're doing all of their work in their bed. They're doing their social interaction in their bed. They're doing, everything in their bed. And so it's really hard to separate those tasks, right? Like our sleeping schedule versus our tasks that we have during the day. So, I think it's important to even just get outside a little bit and like change your scenery. So maybe it's that the kids are going to do their schoolwork and then they're going to go outside for a little bit and then come back in. So that way there's separation of tasks, basically.
So that's definitely a great point. That's a great point.
So that also fits into another thing that is important for helping people be able to fall asleep and stay asleep, which is getting some exercise during the day.
Yeah, I think that probably is a bit difference in a lot. Like if you allow your body to go through those functions to where it needs to be recharged, I do feel like that is one of the a bigger mechanic into knowing that restfulness is needed, that your body will begin to heal itself when it's sleeping. And the idea of exercise is one of the ways that you can get your body to go into those patterns of trying to, I guess, to heal or just keep maintenance on your body as you're sleeping. That's one thing I learned early in the idea of getting good rest. That does help in that. I have a bad habit. When I was young, never had soda in my house. My parents didn't let me. I wasn't happy about that. But as of like the past 3 to 4 years, I drink coffee in the morning. And some people have talked about caffeine. Can you elaborate on whether or not caffeine and stuff like that, does that impede or does that stop you from being able to have the opportunity to have a good restful cycle?
So caffeine definitely does, because the whole point of caffeine is to keep you awake, to keep you alert, and to keep you focused. And the thing about caffeine is it has a really, really long half-life, which means that it takes a long time for your body to process it and for there to be half of it and then half of it in your blood. And according to the Food and Drug Administration, when you have caffeine, it can still be in your blood for up to 12 hours. So that means if you drink a cup of coffee at 9 a.m., there will still be a little tiny trace amount of coffee at 9 p.m. Yeah.
Wow.
And, and I think that, people, like, I drink coffee every morning, but I try not to drink it after noon. Maybe the latest I will have a little bit of, maybe in the afternoon, like maybe at 1 o'clock, if I'm really tired, I'll have a little bit of tea or something, because that has lower caffeine. But if you're even having caffeine at like 4 or 5 o'clock, that can keep you up. That can actually keep you from sleeping.
And I just want to add too, remember that caffeine is in things that we eat as well, not just drink. So
Right.
chocolate is a natural caffeine. So you want to be careful about what you're putting in your body as well.
And
Yeah.
even if we talk about the caffeine, it's just to use the word stimulants, like
Yep.
Right.
anything that's
Yeah.
a stimulant would
Stimulate.
probably,
Yep.
it stimulates you. So therefore, you definitely have that. Those are things that will definitely. I think that sometimes we think that a lot of times it says it speeds up the heart, but really it's also triggering everything that goes on within the
Your
brain.
brain.
The older we get, I try to track my sleep, right? And I think that it's a great idea, even for the students, to feel like that if they're
Yes.
having a hard time concentrating, or if they feel like that they just are in a fog sometimes, to really just think about these things that we were just talking about and see, is there a way to regulate your sleeping pattern, and just take a record for it. That's my advice to somebody who definitely has to do that all the time. Um, Before we leave, are there anything that each of you would like to add to this, Ms. Cook?
So I actually found a great article about health problems that have been noted with poor slumbers. So if you're not getting the appropriate number of hours, you can have memory issues. So you're not focused, you're not concentrating on things, which is something that we see in our students a lot. If they're staying up till 3 a.m. and then they have to be in class at 8:30. They're not there. They're there, but they're not awake, right? They're not paying attention. Mood changes is another thing that could happen. You go from happy to sad, or happy to angry, or all of these different fluctuating mood changes. Weakened immunity, so you're more easily susceptible to sickness or illness. Risk for diabetes. Trouble with thinking and concentrating, which we said, accidents where you're just kind of clumsy, your body's not fully functioning, high blood pressure, weight gain, and risk of heart disease, and also poor balance. So these are all things that could happen if you don't get enough sleep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Cook. Ms. Maria, anything for you?
If you're looking to try and get back onto a normal sleep pattern, so getting 8 to 10 hours at night, it would be really helpful if you created a sleep routine for yourself, so that your body had physical cues going on with your routine, with your daily routine, that kind of gave the signal to your brain, oh, it's time to go to sleep. So shutting off electronics a half hour before you want to go to sleep, maybe doing another activity like reading to kind of calm your brain down, and getting changed into pajamas, brushing your teeth, that kind of stuff, and just getting into a routine every day, because it is going to take time to get into a sleeping pattern, but a sleep routine will definitely help that move a lot faster.
All right, good deal. Good deal. Thank you for that tip as well, Ms. Maria. Ms. Shade, anything for you?
So I think everyone just about covered everything, but one thing I wanted to add was that your sleeping environment is really important. And so, like I said, your body needs it to be dark in order to make melatonin, which is a natural chemical your body makes to say, okay, it's time to sleep. And so one thing you can do to help is you can make sure your room is really dark. If that's not possible, you can get like a sleeping mask, and that will make it easier, and your body will do its more natural thing and be like, oh, it's time to sleep. And quiet. So some people, quiet is helpful. So don't have the TV on or music on or things like that. But also, some people actually do sleep better with a fan on, for example, with white noise, or there are like apps on your phone that make like rain sounds or whatever. And so some people prefer that, some don't. So it's kind of see what works for you. It's a personal choice.
But once again, I want to thank the Children's Guild. I would like to thank Ms. Cook, Ms. Maria, and Ms. Shade for this opportunity. And just stay tuned for us. And thank you very much, guys.
Thank
We
you.
miss you guys.
Thank you.